Bitcoin price gets closer to the last hurdle before $20,000. Ladies and gentlemen, this is an exciting time to be in crypto. Anytime you see the price doing this, getting all crazy and parabolic, it gets exciting. By the way, if you want to learn how to earn passive income with cryptocurrency, go down in the description and subscribe to our Crypto Passive Profits newsletter. Free crypto passive income newsletter, 5 streams of passive income, daily emails teach you everything, multi-year track record, 100% guaranteed, full email support. All right, let's get into this news story. And as I go through this, I want you to let me know, do you think Bitcoin's going to hit 20,000 or not? Leave it down in the comments. So the price of Bitcoin may be a correction in the short term, may see a correction in the short term as one last barrier remains before new all-time highs. This is exciting. While the United States election is still undecided, Bitcoin is experiencing a major rally as BTC price nearly reached $16,000 today, the highest level since January of 2018. Other asset classes have also been doing well, such as NASDAQ, which saw gains of more than 7% in recent days. In the cryptocurrency markets, Ethereum has started to climb as well, with ETH hitting $445. The last weekly hurdle before a new all-time high is close. The weekly chart of Bitcoin is showing the final hurdle before the new all-time high can be reached, as it's facing resistance between 15,800 and 16,800. It's showing that on this chart here. So we can zoom in on that. They're saying this is the next resistance area for all of you that love technical analysis. The probability of a breakthrough is one go is not high, given that the price of Bitcoin has already surged by more than 50% in recent weeks. Since the rally may now be overextended, as several indicators suggest, it's unlikely to anticipate further continuation. In other words, traders will likely be taking some quick profits after such a huge rally in a short period of time. Therefore, the most likely support zone based on the weekly chart is found in the 11,600 to 12,000 area. This zone has been a crucial resistance to a breakthrough in the previous years, as Bitcoin price has been constantly rejected in this area. A support resistance flip in this area would be relatively healthy. This is the part that I find most interesting right here. This is an indicator that I pay attention to. Fear and greed reaching levels not seen before. The fear and greed index is currently showing a value of 90, which is classified as extreme greed, and warning traders that a correction should not come as a surprise. Notice what it says. Should not come as a surprise. It doesn't say that correction is for certain. The reason is because I've seen this extreme greed indicator stay at extreme greed for an extended amount of time. The last time this sentiment level was reached was during the summer of 2019. This rally ran from 30,200 to 13,800 and ended in a correction of more than 50% in the following months. The total market cap attempting a breakout continuation. The total cryptocurrency market capitalization is showing a clear breakout above the recent high of $390 billion. The breakout looks likely to continue rallying towards $500 billion. The next resistance zone found on this chart, however, to sustain such a rally, the total market capitalization of cryptocurrencies has to hold at $390 billion, as that would potentially result in a bullish support resistance flip for more upside. When they say bullish support and resistance flip, those of you that aren't familiar with how technical analysis works, let me just explain that real quickly. So if this is the resistance line right now, resistance is what it has to break through to go higher. If it goes above that line and it comes back and meets it and bounces back, then it's called support. It's holding up the price. So for example, one support area would be down here, the bottom of the price. And you could say maybe right here could be a support area. The price has touched that number and bounced up. So a support resistance flip is when one area has been resistance, but then it breaks above it and it becomes support. That's what they mean by that. Imagine, we know you can invest in Bitcoin, but what if you could invest in the whole market cap? Like what if there was a way as an index fund you could invest in the whole market cap? What if I told you there is, and it's coming out, basically a decentralized version of CoinMarketCap? Stay tuned, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification icon. I got an incredible interview coming for you. Sneak peek, I'm not gonna announce that anywhere in the headline. Those of you that are listening this far, you are gonna be in line. You're gonna be made aware of an incredible interview you're not gonna want to miss. It's coming up on my channel Monday morning, 8 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. So make certain that you hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification. You're not going to want to miss it. All right, let's get back to the video. Key levels to watch for in the Bitcoin chart. Okay, so they go through the key levels. All in all, the sentiment is heavily bullish at this point, with the price at multi-year highs and only one major resistance level remaining at 16,000 before a new all-time high comes into play. So I think this is very exciting news. Here's the biggest challenge right now when you see this for most people. They see the price going up. They see the price going up. So, for example, I had a call this morning. One of my friends says, hey, do you think Bitcoin, this is a good time to buy Bitcoin? Well, I don't know what your expectation is, and I don't give personal financial advice. I even said that to him. I said, man, I can't give you no financial advice, and here's the challenge. Do I think this is the time to buy Bitcoin? That's hard to say. Do I think this is a time to be earning a passive income in cryptocurrency? Absolutely. You can't regret that. Let me just say where I think Bitcoin's going. I think we're going higher. No question. Personally, I believe that. The only thing that's going to stop Bitcoin from going higher over the next 90 days is going to be some sort of regulations coming. And I do believe those regulations are coming. 2021 has the ability to be a parabolic year for Bitcoin unless we get regulations. And see, I'm in this 50-50 place where I'm like, but I'm pretty sure we're going to get some devastating regulations. And I'm going to talk about those in a minute. I'm pretty sure we're going to get some devastating regulations, most likely in 2021. If that happens, it could drastically tank the price. So here's the challenge that I'm in. I already dollar cost average. If you're going to buy Bitcoin, you're going to buy Ethereum, you're going to buy your favorite altcoin. That's the only way to do it, is a dollar cost average. But the reason that I'm such a fan of earning passive income is because I don't have to think about what price to buy it. Yes, if you saw my video yesterday, I'll link it above in case you didn't see it, about my I talked about my projection for my $100 per day challenge, how to make $100 per day, and my projections on my journey over the next year. And that price projection, if Bitcoin price goes up, if we have a crazy great Bitcoin price, then it's going to be epic, because my income stream is going to not be $100 a day. It might be $500 a day potentially, or $300 a day. So that would be epic. The challenge is trying to figure out, when do I buy? Is the price too high to buy? Is it going to go higher? That's always a crapshoot. Buying is always a little bit of a crapshoot. But if I know that I'm already earning every single day in a way that is passive, then I don't have anything to worry about as far as making decisions about buying. In fact, all I'm doing is holding or selling. Far easier. When I'm building business, many of you know that I actually do affiliate marketing for cryptocurrency projects. Oh, not projects, well, I guess they are projects for businesses. And I talk about that in our paid course. But in that course, I would rather spend money on advertising and know that I'm growing my stream of passive cryptocurrency or passive Bitcoin. I would rather spend money on advertising and know that I'm growing an income stream than buy a cryptocurrency and not knowing, trying to deal with those emotions. Is it going higher or is it going lower? Or when I buy it, we've all had this happen. You buy it and all of a sudden the price tanks. And you're like, what in the world? That's why, if you've always wondered, why is Wealth always talking about passive income in crypto? That's why. It gets the emotion part out of it. Now, let's go back to, I want to cover this really quickly. I have taught you, listen, if you follow my channel, I don't have a crystal ball, but I can see this playing out just as clear, and not enough people discuss this. Where's Bitcoin going in the future? We're going to mass adoption. And by the way, what I told my buddy this morning, I said, listen, if you plan to hold it for years, yeah, I think it's going to be a great investment long term. But between now and long term, it could be highly volatile. Why? Because regulations are coming, and they're not positive regulations for cryptocurrency. They are going to regulate cryptocurrency. They do not want competition. And here's the proof of it. There's several news stories right now. The first one is Russia. Russia's central bank says the pandemic has accelerated regulators' interest in CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. These are predominantly private blockchain currencies controlled by one government. Bitcoin is not controlled by anyone. Even Ethereum isn't really controlled by anyone. CBDC is controlled by the government that issues it, like the US dollar is controlled, which is the exact reason why we have Bitcoin, right? This is important to recognize. I'm not going to read through this. It's not that long, but basically they're saying that they're moving towards creating a CBDC. The Fed coin's coming out. I've discussed that on this video before, on this channel before. The Fed coin's coming out. The Fed coin, the whole purpose of the Fed coin is a US version of Bitcoin, but it's not Bitcoin. It's a CBDC. So the federal government can continue to control their currency. Ladies and gentlemen, this is basically co-opting the decentralized cryptocurrency movement. You have to understand the difference in centralized and decentralized. Decentralized is nobody can take it away from you. Centralized is they can remove it from your account should they choose to, literally. No one can steal Bitcoin. Like they can't, let me rephrase it. They can take Bitcoin from you if they have access to your private keys. But without access to your private keys, no one can take it from you. The government can't garnish your wages, for example. So what's going to happen is, here's what the road to mass adoption looks like in my opinion. Regulations. I was going to do a video about regulations and I cannot find the article. But the headline was really good. The headline was like, several regulators basically are requesting for, several congressmen are requesting for further regulations to help mass adoption of cryptocurrency. Some crazy headline like that. But when you read it, in the article, it lists each congressman, what party they were affiliated with. And by the way, this is bipartisan. It was Republicans and Democrats. What party and what were they requesting and who they were requesting it to. Some of them were putting it into bills. Some of them were petitioning, like Steve Mnuchin of the Treasury Secretary, for example. And in every single case, it told you exactly what they were asking for. In every single case, they did not mention Bitcoin. In every single case, they did not mention Ethereum. They mentioned literally CBDC, central bank digital currency. So yeah, there's regulations coming. There's cryptocurrency regulations coming. And ladies and gentlemen, pay attention, because even places like cryptocurrency news sources will misrepresent headlines and whatnot. There is a move to co-opt decentralized cryptocurrency. I promise you that's coming. And then they're probably going to make Bitcoin and crypto difficult to own. They're going to either make it illegal or they'll make it illegal to buy on exchanges, etc. More crypto regulations is coming. Industry executives say after multiple years of heightened legal overwatch, the future may hold much of the same. Over the past few years, regulatory bodies across the globe have increased their scrutiny on the cryptocurrency space, clarifying gray areas while also going after offenders. Although the industry has seen a lot of regulatory actions, authorities have not really changed their positions, at least according to Alex Warren, CEO and co-founder of decentralized crypto exchange IDEX. This guy right here, I can't help but wonder, is he a patsy for the federal government? Because, they came after him. They basically just slapped him with a $300 fine. I don't know, man. I just wonder. Crypto regulation itself hasn't really changed the last few years, Warren told Cointelegraph. Instead, what we've seen is an increase in enforcement actions and stronger guidance from regulatory bodies, he added. I believe we'll continue to see enforcement actions that help businesses and entrepreneurs understand what types of activities are allowed and what are not. Once called the Wild Wild West, the crypto industry has matured in many ways. After a year filled with excessive speculation, hype, and fundraising in 2017, various national and international authorities stepped in while the digital asset markets underwent a multi-year decline. Now, several years later, regulations commonly headline crypto media. Recent weeks have only seen an increase in government actions. The U.S. Department of Justice and the Commodities Future Trading Commission recently brought charges against major crypto derivatives exchange BitMEX, for example. Regulatory authorities, however, have also clarified certain guidelines, as seen in the Office of the Controller of the Currency Statement on the bank crypto custody abilities. Additionally, many countries obviously view digital asset technology. Additionally, many countries obviously view digital asset technology as important, as they each essentially compete in a race towards their own central bank digital currency, or CBDC. Do you see it right there? They consider it important because they're in their own race. This is not the same thing. CBDC is not Bitcoin. That's important. There's not enough influencers talking about this, ladies and gentlemen. And one thing, I have integrity in this message from the very beginning. I am all for decentralization. I'm all for regulations that help clarify rules for true decentralized cryptocurrencies. I'm against regulations that prevent you or me, the average person, from participating in this market, owning Bitcoin, or having free access to do what we want with our cryptocurrency. Crypto regulations is still in its infancy, but we've seen some major developments this past year in the forms of CBDCs and tax policies. Again, there it is. And they talk about it like it's good for crypto. CEO and co-founder of blockchain-based token building platform Waves told Cointelegraph. Okay, so regulations is certainly going to be an area of focus in the crypto space going into the next year. It is only a matter of time before an increasing number of jurisdictions adhere to regulations. The kind of regulation is actually a good thing for the crypto space. Waves wants to be at the forefront of the emerging dialogue and help shape the future of regulations in the blockchain space. This is really smart. Hopefully they understand what they're saying here. They're basically saying, hey, we want to make certain that we can argue this. Listen, nobody's doing this for charity. We want to argue this for our business. We want to make sure that we're on the forefront of helping shape regulations so our business isn't considered illegal. I'm going to tell you right now, regulations in general are not good because now you have to prevent the regulators from messing with your money. That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. I know people will say, hey, regulations are good because they can help us. They can help you. But the moment you ask for help, you better also be hoping that the same force doesn't ever work against you with someone with more money pays off the politicians to create a new law that's also supposed to be designed to help you. But at the same time, hurts the efficiency of the market and prevents your ability to earn profits potentially, such as even holding Bitcoin. 49 states unveil unified regulations for cryptocurrency firms. Ladies and gentlemen, and if you look, who's doing this? The Conference of the State Bank Supervisors, the banking professionals, exactly what Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is supposed to be about, allowing you to be able to be your own bank. But the banking professionals are coming in. Ladies and gentlemen, crypto's under attack. But neither here nor there. I'm bullish long term. Understand that. We got to get through this part first. But I'm still bullish long term because I think at some point regulations come into play. At some point, Bitcoin could crash. At some point, whenever that some point is, governments are going to turn back or citizens are going to turn back to cryptocurrency. Most likely it's going to be the citizens. Decentralized cryptocurrencies, that is. South Korea to ban crypto exchanges from handling privacy coins. See, they don't like that privacy thing. They want to know what you do with your money, where you do it with, and how much you do it. They don't like privacy. So that's interesting. I mean, and it's funny because last year, 18 months ago, several, influencers, people were like, yeah, privacy coins are the wave of the future. People want to have privacy, yada, yada. And I thought they're not the wave of the future. They have a place. They should exist. I would fight for their right to exist. I fight for your right to own them. I don't like this headline, but I knew regulators are coming against privacy coins. I mean, literally, you have to understand the environment that we're in. You have to watch the documentary, Money is Debt. Once you understand the environment that we're in, once you understand, just become a slight student of macroeconomics and government's relations to their own economic policies. Once you understand that, it doesn't take half a brain to know that privacy coins are going to get attacked. So I did that video about Monero and the IRS. I'm rooting for Monero. I'm not going to own any. And someone put in the comments, yeah, after this, Monero is going to go to the moon. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Long term, it might, but it might be a long while before that happens. Again, see what I'm saying? There's uncertainty coming into crypto space. If it wasn't for regulations, we're set to go parabolic in 2021. But we don't yet know what these regulations are going to do. So here's where you have to be careful. You start buying up crypto at 15,000. Is it going to go to 30,000? It might. Could it go to 50,000? Who knows? But all it takes is a government official coming out and saying, hey, this competes with the Fed coin. We're not going to allow this to compete with the Fed coin. So there's no reason for you to own Bitcoin when you can own the Fed coin. In fact, they might even do a one-to-one exchange. Send us your Bitcoin. We'll send you the equivalent in Fed coin. Now you're legal. Now you're using a legal cryptocurrency. And you don't lose any money on it. See? How nice is that of them? And now when you send that transaction, they're able to track your wallet indefinitely. Ladies and gentlemen, you just got to be aware of how governments work. Like this is how it works. By the way, I talk about mass adoption. How's mass adoption going to happen? It's either going to be citizens coming against governments or, and when I say mass adoption, I mean mass adoption of actual Bitcoin or Ethereum or some other decentralized cryptocurrency. When I talk about mass adoption, I say it's either going to be citizens or governments. They may attempt to dump the US dollar. And here we have this article. Iran adopts Bitcoin for international trade amid heavy sanctions, falling real, soaring inflation. So there's a lot to unpack in this headline. What they're saying is the U.S. government puts sanctions. It's the strongest financial government in the world by miles because the U.S. dollar is the world reserve currency. So the U.S. government forces countries, whether you agree with it or not, to comply through sanctions. They basically allow them to, they prevent people from, helping them using U.S. dollars. They prevent all American banking systems, companies that have to deal with America. Basically, you can't do any business with Iran. They essentially create laws like that. So what Iran does is they use Bitcoin because the U.S. government can't control it. Don't you see how that would be scary for the U.S. government? by the way. And I say this as a citizen who believes in free society. But if I was the president, it would be hard not to want to put these sort of rules in place if you're responsible for keeping people safe, etc. So I get the weird position that governments are in, but as a citizen, I want us to have as many free and fair and open laws as possible. The other reason they're using the Bitcoin is because the real is falling and inflation is soaring. They know their own currency. They're having to inflate their own currency. Every government goes through this economic cycle. If they're not taken over by war, if they don't collapse because of war, they collapse because of their own economic policy. And that policy is always a policy of inflation, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm not going to go through this, but that's basically what they're dealing with right now here in Iran. And I only say this because this is the path I've talked about before on my channel. I've talked about price could go parabolic if governments don't come up with their own cryptocurrencies, if they don't try to regulate it, which is exactly what they're doing. But I said no matter what, eventually it's not going to matter because citizens are going to get tired of it, or they're going to either get tired of being controlled, they're going to get tired of losing their own value, because if they create, the reason Iran hasn't created their own cryptocurrency is because they can also re-inflate their own real. And their citizens could be losing faith in the real, so they don't want to own it. So they wouldn't want to own anything from the government. So when the government says, hey, we're using Bitcoin, or if the government says, hey, we're going to peg this to Bitcoin, which right now they're not doing that. They're primarily using it for their own international trade, but they're obviously looking at Bitcoin strongly because of falling real and soaring inflation. This is how it works. This is how it works, ladies and gentlemen. So the challenge you have to ask yourself is, okay, I see the environment, but the environment doesn't necessarily dictate price. I just explained this environment. These are all news stories of the past month, but the price is still going higher. So no one has a crystal ball, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I want you to understand. That's why I absolutely 100% choose to earn a passive income with cryptocurrency. 100%. And I highly recommend that you do two things. Subscribe to this channel, smash that like button, and then go down in the description and subscribe to the Crypto Passive Profits newsletter. All right. That was three things. You're right. You only have to do two of the three. Pick out any two you want. You don't have to do the third one. But stay tuned, because next week I am going to be interviewing a developer. I'm going to do it on Monday morning, who's literally going to be talking about his DeFi project. It's fascinating. I should say there's a team. It is a really interesting project. You guys, I mean, when I saw it, and you'll see in the interview, when I was doing the interview with him, it's like an hour and a half interview. But it was so good. We covered such good content. If you go through that interview, you're going to understand that project better than most people who've done nothing more than try to read through the website. Like when we get into some good nitty-gritty stuff, it is amazing the technology that exists in cryptocurrency. And this is the kind of technology that we need to carry cryptocurrency forward, in my personal opinion. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, remember, first and foremost, I believe decentralized cryptocurrency is freedom. This is Crypto Wealth. I'm out.